Hi, I'm Suzie Newell. I'm the author of The Path 365, and I'm going to talk to you today about overcoming fear. We're going to start with a little tweet. John Klassen is a book illustrator, and a few years back, he tweeted this. Last year in a library in Alaska, I read a folktale in a random book on a random shelf and have been thinking about it ever since. Today, I wrote the librarian with no book title or author. And in 2 hours, I had a scan of the story and cover in my inbox. Librarians should be running everything. So I agree. I think librarians should rule the world. But generally, we don't see that kind of enthusiasm about librarians. But it did get me thinking. How do we see ourselves as readers or researchers or wonderers? Do we yearn to be more? Do we read about characters and think, I could never? What stops us from moving through all the things we want to be or do? I personally have reinvented myself an awful lot. I've been a researcher, a political activist, a lobbyist, a nurse anesthesiologist, a wife, a traveler, an author. I believe that I've done all these things because of a learned lack of fear. I think I learned this from a book that I read in high school. It's called Dune. You probably know it. If you have seen the recent movie version, we can discuss that, but probably not here. We don't have the time. So follow me on at the Path 365 on any social media platform. But like all good epic fantasy, this book is about everything. There's a storyline in it that has these badass witches, and they're called the Bene Gesserit, and they have this mantra called the Litany Against Fear. I'm going to read it for you. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. So this struck me really hard at an impressionable age, and I made it my own personal mantra. And I think that this is the reason that I've been able to overcome so many fears. So why is that? What is it about fear? The neuroscience behind fear is complicated, as neurosciences want to be, but I'm going to bust it down for you. So you learn fear from your community or from your family or from your culture or from experiences. Some of these fears are super useful, like don't pet the lion in the zoo. Other fears are irrational, like be afraid of things that are different from you. But all of these fears land in this primitive part of your brain where you can react without thinking. So that's instinct, right? That's where fear lands. It lands in this instinctual, primitive part of your brain. And that's great. Like 10,000 years ago, when you see a saber-toothed tiger, you go, oh, and you run. Instead of looking at the saber-toothed tiger and processing, oh, those teeth are really big and I think I should run. And I have saves you a whole bunch of time in an emergency. You just react. And that's what you want. But it's not so useful when you're in the 21st century and you're running away from everything different from you. We need to train our brain to respond to situations with wonder. I wrote The Path 365 as a daily direction book, and it's got 365 entries. Number 275 is give up the gut reactions. People always say, trust your gut. I say, check your gut. The gut reaction does not come from the logical frontal part of your brain. We just talked about this, right? It comes from a place where you are running on instinct. You need to learn how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Once you establish that most fear is irrational, you can get on the business of becoming the person you were meant to be. That is why I think that that little mantra saved me. It caused me to stop and check my gut. So, what's your dream? Are you the librarian who wants to rule the world? Well, I'm kind of in support of that, right? All right. So, where do you go now? Number 95 in my book is dream a little dream. You are never going to be amazing at things that you are not passionate about. And then number 96 is make a plan. You can't just rule the world. You have to have a goal and a plan. So you want to become US president first, maybe to get there. And that's not just going to happen. The US government isn't going to come and just discover you. So you have to go to meetings and you'll go run for school board and you go to fundraisers and things like that. And then number 96 is your plan is not the law. Every one of these entries has a tagline. The tagline for this one is, we will now discuss in a little more detail the struggle for existence, Charles Darwin. Because Charlie, probably from being on that boat for so long, knew that plans always go awry. And you have to be adaptable. Most importantly, you have to learn how to fall down and get back up. Number 129 is fall down again. Get comfortable with failure by learning from it and getting back up and keep on going until you're debating a pizza tycoon and a TV personality and a neurosurgeon for the privilege of becoming US president. Weirder things have happened, and librarians really should rule the world. But I am insert your own personal self-destroying commentary. Too stupid, too ugly, too fat, too timid, too old, too blah, 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 blah. You need to read number 3, where we talk about that insufferable bitch in your head and subsequently tell them to shut the hell up. They aren't welcome here. Becoming the person you are meant to be is not an overnight job. It's not something that begins or ends at a certain age. And it's not something anyone else can tell you how to do. We are the readers, the researchers, the wanderers. We are the dreamers. We return to the perfect world of our books, knowing there's something better out there for us. We are the ones who actually see possibilities. We can be the ones who make those possibilities real. Go on. I dare you. Become the person you are meant to be. Thank you.